Welcome to this edition of Birch Talk, where we bring you news, education, and inspiration here at home and across the country to help you to become educated and active members of the John Birch Society. My name is Joe Provost. I am the chapter leader of the Oswego, New York chapter of the John Birch Society. And for today's short minute here, I want to bring you some information that is quite local, but actually quite global, if you will. Many of us have heard about these riots that are going on throughout the country. We talked about this before, the Black Lives Matter and the movement that they kind of are professing right now. This idea that, you have to, if you're black, you must engage in the Black Lives Matter riots. And it's interesting because if you look online, if you look at these social media sites, you see lots of differing opinions. It's very fascinating. Even people in my own family have made some comments about the fact that you just don't understand. Black people have been, engaged in some form of slavery for all these years. They need justice, and there's a lot of that narrative going around. There's no doubt, and I'm sure some of you have seen it as well. The problem that we have, though, is that, and again, this would take a lot of time to go through if we went through it step by step and line by line, but has this idea of Black Lives Matter, does it stem from racial injustice? Does it truly stem from racial injustice? Or is it something bigger? Is there something bigger going on that has absolutely nothing to do with Black Lives Mattering? I mean, because truly, if Black Lives mattered, then I would think that all the black on black murders would be talked about, and I think that all the black baby abortions would, hopefully be talked about a little bit more than they are. But if that's not being discussed, then is it truly about Black Lives Matter, or is it more about a deeper underlying thing that is grasping us from up top and from below, trying to suck us into a new world order, into an ideal that is going to strike us and to try to take our identity from us. Now, who's stuck between this? Who's stuck between the top down and the bottom up? Who might that be? Well, I'll tell you who it is. It's the police. It's our law enforcement. The John Birch Society for so many years has, back from the 50s and early 60s, has a program in place called the Support Your Local Police. They started with committees, and we still have committees today. We can have committees in our area and around the country to support our local police because right now they're under attack. Now, there's a couple things to consider here. One, they're under attack from, again, the top and the bottom coming together. They're caught in the middle, but they're also under attack from a lot of other things as well. So, are they under attack by rioters? Absolutely. Are they under attack by their mayors in many cases? Absolutely. Are they under attack by their civilian review boards? Absolutely. Are they under attack by the New World Order? Absolutely. The insiders? Absolutely. By the Trilateral Commission? Absolutely. By the CFR? Absolutely. By the UN? Absolutely. So our police are under attack from every angle. What are we to do about this? And how are we to understand it? Because see, at the top you have the people like George Soros. You have these financiers that are going out and financing the people at the bottom, the quote unquote Black Lives Matter, this quote unquote Antifa, these people that seek to destroy the public order because their only goal in life, their only goal, their only hope is to destroy public order. There's no intent on fixing anything. Because if there was, would they firebomb black businesses when those businesses have signed to say it's black owned and people don't care? They do it anyway. Would they do that to themselves? Would they do that to those of their own race if truly Black Lives Matter? Of course not. I mean, it seems preposterous to think so. So it's not really the issue at hand. The issue at hand is destroying public order. The issue at hand is to destroy the public order to the point where you have to send in the federal police, if you want to call it that, and to make these local police departments disband, to be defunded, just in the last day or so. Governor Andrew Cuomo from New York has actually stated that he wants to defund all of these police departments by April of 2021 if they don't meet his demands for reform. Now, we know that he's already passed so many draconian measures in the state to start with, between the coronavirus and some other things, and right now many people are calling him King Como, and rightly so, based on his draconian measures with no legislative authority. Recently, in the last day or two, he's come up with this plan to make it easier for people to vote because of the fear of COVID-19 in the sense of voting and going to the polls and going to the booths. Now, COVID-19 is real. It can make people very sick. However, if we're going to allow thousands of rioters, to gather together and not have a problem with it, what's the big deal about people going to vote? Again, see, the narrative is there. The narrative changes to suit the needs of the insiders, to suit the needs of the deep state, to suit the needs of those searching and guiding and hoping that this movement that they have started, this communist Marxist movement, is going to take them where they want to go. Where they ultimately want to go, well, they want to have a new world order. They want to have world domination, world government. They want to belittle the United States of America. The United States is not supposed to be the greatest country in the world to them. No, because that is not equal. That's not fair. So they're striking down anything they can, any possible way to destroy public order. They want to do that. And then, if you try to attack the public order, while at the same time destroying the ability of the police to do their job, you've taken away their weapons, figuratively and specifically. You've taken away their ability to enforce the law. You know, go to the DNC, and they can't even have their appropriate tools, such as tear gas, to disperse rioters and protesters that pose a threat to the DNC. Many of those police departments that had contracted for the DNC said, no, well, we're not doing it. We're not going because we can't do that. But those cases are a few here and there. But all in all, it's at the end of the day, if you're a police officer, you have to make a decision. Do I obey the law? Do I enforce the law? And if I do, well, am I going to get in trouble for doing my job? And that's what's really happening. The support of the police is sometimes embattled in the sense of the mayors of the cities and even at the state police level, you got the governors enforcing certain laws and rules at their own whim or making them up as they go along. So where does a police officer stand? And well, first off, they need our support. In fact, they can't stand right now without the support of people like you and I. We have to be there for them. We have to support them. We have to show them that there's an actual concerted effort to destroy them, to destroy the idea of law and order. Again, this country is not a democracy. It is a republic. A republic is ruled on law. That's what makes us different than a lot of other countries. That is what's great about the American experiment. Because we're not ruled by the mob. We're not. We're ruled by the United States Constitution and its contingent amendments. So that is what guides us. So how do we support our police? How do we support our local police? We band with them. We make them know we care. You see a police officer say, you know what? Thank you for doing what you do. We're praying for you. We're pulling for you. What can we do for you? Can we drop off some food? Can we do something for you? And I think one of the best things we can do for them, in addition to the encouragement and to just let them know that we want them to do well, we care for them, we pray for them every day, is to educate them as much as we can. Support them emotionally, support them materially if we can, support them in every way. But also, I want you to look at this magazine right here. This is the July 6th issue of the New American. What's really behind the riots? Save a life, kill a cop. That's what they're up against, folks. That's what they're up against. So, what do? Why don't we take one of these and get them into the hands of every single police officer that you know? Have them read it. And then follow up and say, hey, what did you think about that? And when they give you the response, listen. Listen carefully. See what they have to say. Because I'm sure they're going to say something like, wow, I really never knew that. Or I knew something was amiss. I knew this couldn't just be coincidence. And you know what they're going to say is, can I have more information? And then you can give them a support your local police flyer. You can give them some other materials. You can get them to understand the bigger picture and what they're up against. And not to make them feel like they're defeated. We don't want that. But we want them to understand that there are resources. There is an educational organization, an educational army out there named the John Birch Society, which seeks to support them in every way and which seeks to help them during these difficult and trying times. But we want them to be educated, get this into their hands, their police chief's hands, the sheriff's hands, whoever. Get this into everybody's hands that you can. And from there, we educate, and then we organize, and then we become more active, and we can actually do something about what's going on in this country. Because I don't know about you, but Antifa does not speak for me. Black Lives Matter doesn't speak for me because, quite frankly, if you have to invoke a race into your cause, that's the term. That's what we call racism. If I went around and said white lives matter, would I be called a racist? Absolutely. First chance somebody talked to me, that's exactly what they would say. It was him a racist. But why is it okay? Why is it okay for somebody else to say, quote, Black Lives Matter, but yet then to go again and firebomb black businesses and abort black babies and destroy others that don't agree with them and beat and kill a former black police captain to death and kill him because he was trying to defend a business? If Black lives truly mattered, those things wouldn't have happened. Again, I want you to truly understand that this has nothing to do with black lives. This has everything to do with anarchy, has everything to do with disruption, disorder, and the eventual goal of world government. This has been the aim for years. This continues to be the aim. The way we go about it is maybe a little different over time, but the actual principles are exactly the same. We need to be educated and aware of these things so we can make a difference in supporting our police. I have 100 of these, $1 each. Let me know. Give me a call. Send me an email. Let me know how I can get this to you, and we'll make sure that you and I both can get this into any and every hands that we can, so we can make a difference. We are the John Birch Society. We are educators, we are organizers, and we are effective at what we do because we have a national framework, a national plan that has worked since 1958, and it will continue to work until we beat out this communist, Marxist, ideological, terroristic idea that's out there that cops' lives don't matter, that my life doesn't matter, your life doesn't matter. Yes, they do. Our lives matter. Our country's lives matters. And I just want to read something to you real quick. And this is from the Oswego County Sheriff. And there was an incident recently where a picture was taken of him. He had flown a quote-unquote flag that had an imposed picture of the president on it. And he was doing a patrol in the lake. There was a flotilla parade on the water of some folks that were supporting our president and supporting our police. And a resident had given that to him and says, hey, can you fly this off of your sheriff's boat as they're on patrol? And he says, sure, anything to do, to support our president, who also supports our police. And he came under great fire. In fact, the picture that ended up circulating was from a very liberal news media, Syracuse.com, and WSYR had posted a picture of him and zoomed in as much as they could and then created a firestorm. There was never a firestorm to start with. Nobody had a problem with it. until they posted it. Most of the people were of the liberal leaning. Most of them weren't from the county in which the sheriff is responsible for. But here's a statement by the sheriff, and I think this is very important to see where somebody who is not backing down, who's supporting his men and women in blue, and despite the media, despite those that wish to tear him down and call for his resignation over this, he stands by his decisions, and that is a man of honor. I think a person we need to support, and I've got a letter into him to try to get a meeting with him to give him multiple copies of the issue that we just talked about. But here's his statement. He says, on August 2nd, 2020, the Oswego County Sheriff's Department Marine Patrol was providing security at Oneida Lake during a Trump Flotilla event. It is standard practice for our Marine Patrol to be on duty every weekend throughout throughout the summer, and to provide activity for all on-the-water events. In this instance, I was on the Marine Patrol boat with our deputies. During the event, a participant handed me a flag, and I allowed it to be flown from the patrol boat during the event. As I have previously stated, I did this to show support for the event participants and for our president, who has supported law enforcement at a time when many groups are unjustly vilifying our profession. To do so was my decision only, and not my deputies, and I take full and sole responsibility for it. After the event, Oswego County Chairman Wethrup reminded me that county policy prohibits the display of altered U.S. flags in county property. I understand the policy. Today I met with all members of the Oswego County Legislature and assured them it will not happen again. I have received many letters of both support and criticism. While I stand by my personal beliefs, I do regret that some people, veterans in particular, were uncomfortable with the display of an altered American flag. This was no disrespect intended. Nevertheless, writing now as a sheriff, but as an American citizen who has proudly spent his career serving the public as a law enforcement officer, this incident has inspired me to be even more vocal about the unjust and hypocritical criticism of police by anti-democracy groups and certain politicians who pander to them. I will do so on my own time, on my own dime, and as loudly as I can. I respect the right of the people to have a critical opinion of what I did. This is America, after all, and freedom of speech is part of what the flag stands for. But let's keep a clear-headed perspective here. I flew a political flag on taxpayers' property, yet many of the people criticizing me for that also defend rioters who destroy taxpayers' property. It is a sign of people thinking reasonably when they support policies in the policies that the excuse and set free those who commit criminal acts of violence and assault, while at the same time call for the termination of me and my deputies simply for flying a flag. It is not. I am proud of each and every one of my deputies and officers, and of the service and sacrifices that they make every day to keep the public safe. I honor and respect all the men and women of law enforcement I have served alongside over the past 3 decades. I am proud of my career serving the public, and I remain dedicated to committing to impartially enforcing the law, keeping our communities safe. That will never change. Now, that is from the sheriff. He supports his deputies. He stands by his decision. And in a way, he calls out the hypocrisy of those that seek to destroy a man of behind the badge, to try to destroy him in his department, but yet turn around and go riot and have no problems with that. There's not a clear direction there, clearly. So I guess I just wanted to bring that as an example just to share with you that we have an uphill battle. We do. We really have an uphill battle. But we're going to support our police. We're going to support our local police. We're going to strive to be active, engaged, and to make sure that we are the brothers and sisters standing side by side them, giving them that support and that strength to do their job. to do their duty, to keep us all safe, because that's what they're there to do. And our job as members of the John Birch Society is to support our local police and keep them independent. Our job is to be informed and educated, to be active, and to bring others into that activism by education and outreach. I charge each and every single one of us to get a copy of the magazine. Again, I have them available. Let me know. Get a copy of the magazine, hand them out to folks, sheriffs, police officers, opinion molders, union presidents. Let's get them out there. Let's be active. Let's be engaged. We can make a difference. We make a difference every single day by the things that we do. Let's not give up now. Let's be strong. Let's be faithful. And let's remember that we strive each day by our education and activity to be the force in the world that changes these things that happen for the better. We strive for less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. This is Joe Provos for Birch Talk. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and be active.